This month on the Good News Pod, we are so excited to welcome in Gary Sanchez, the Regional Director of External Affairs for AT&T Georgia. Welcome, Gary.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. So earlier this month, for our listeners, you guys over at AT&T, you generously donated 100 laptops that we were able to provide to our Opportunity Center clients based on a digital needs survey that we conducted earlier this summer. Really great event. It was really inspiring to see folks out there. Thank you again to you and the team for making this possible. So to start us off, what inspired AT&T to partner with Goodwill Southeast Georgia for this event?
Well, first of all, thank you for all the work that Goodwill did to make it such a great event. It was, it's one of my favorite things that I get to do in my current role is to help distribute these laptops. So, I guess a number of years ago, I think we all realized the importance of connectivity and also the ability to use those tools that connect us to the online community. And with AT&T, we've been serving Georgia for over 146 years.
Wow.
And so it has been kind of the next step for us is how do we continue to connect our communities with wireless and fiber type networks to give them opportunities, to help them with their educations, and just even with essential services like healthcare. And we find that more and more it's just a necessity of our lives. I don't think that we can really get along as well as we once could without having that connectivity. And I think that having the connectivity is one part, and having the devices is another.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit on a really important point there that, the internet and therefore the device itself is really an access point to so many needed resources. Yeah. And at Goodwill Southeast Georgia, we believe that, education is at the heart of what we do in getting folks from a job to a better job to a career. And what we're seeing is, online learning becoming more and more of an accessible option for folks, or even applying to the job itself is largely a process that begins online. So we really appreciate you all providing those devices.
Yeah. And it's exactly that that type of programming and those types of services that Goodwill provides here locally that made it such a great partnership for us. Their ability to help train people with new skills, to give them those digital skills that are needed for their next job, helping them even apply for those jobs is just vital to helping close that digital divide.
Absolutely. And in some cases, providing that tool, that laptop, offers a learning opportunity in itself. If folks haven't had a laptop before, they may not have some of those digital skills. So, for us, it's also digital literacy as well, which is a service that we're able to provide through our opportunity centers. So, in your words, Gary, why would you say that digital literacy is such a critical issue today?
I think that, each and every day we have a new thing that comes into our lives that we have to use online services one way or another. And I think that, you mentioned the difference between the phone and a laptop. And so often, some of the younger generations have grown up with a phone in their hands, but then you hand them a laptop and they don't know exactly what to do with it. And yet, to do their work, to be just to complete their work tasks, they need to have the skills on that laptop, whether it's email or a spreadsheet. And that's where those digital literacy skills and the digital literacy comes into play that the Goodwill helps teach, and that AT&T is so focused on in helping provide both devices and in other situations to also provide programs that teach those digital literacy skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the great thing about the recent event with you guys is, by connecting with our opportunity centers, we were able to kind of go back to our client base and do that survey and see where that need was, whether it be for education and the tool itself. So those laptops are going directly to folks that expressed a digital need, which is really good.
Yeah, and there were some amazing stories that came out of that. Folks that, I think there was a student that their prior device had just failed, and then she could not complete her coursework without a new device, and the survey came out at the perfect time to help meet her need there. And then I believe there was another one who was starting a new job.
Yes, correct.
That she needed a laptop to do her work.
Right.
And it was one of those requirements that she couldn't start the job without the laptop, and this was just perfect timing for her as well. It's one of those that's truly rewarding. It's a tangible reminder
Yes.
of how important this work is for AT&T and for Goodwill too.
Yeah, and in the case of that second story, in her email to us, that person shared that, it was almost a situation that without the laptop, it was almost a moment of celebration that led to some, oh no, how am I going to take this next step? But then with that laptop arriving, she was able to fully embrace the joy of that next step, which was really great to see. So as we're talking about some of the tangible impact from this event, beyond the ones that we've heard about, what kind of impact do you hope that these laptops will have on the recipients and their families? What was it like in that moment to see folks receiving the laptops at the Pooler event?
Yeah, that it was truly heartwarming. It was neat to be able to be there and see the folks that, I can't tell you the number of times that they would come up to me and say, thank you for the laptop. And, I'm kind of just saying you're welcome from an AT&T perspective. And you're reminded, some of them came up to me multiple times to say thank you, because it was something that you could see that it was going to be transformational for their lives. It was something that was going to either help them push forward in their education, or it was something that was going to allow them to reach new levels in their career.
Yeah, and we love working with organizations like AT&T. We're on the same page. Our goal is getting folks to that next step, and so they can reach that brighter future, that next goal. And this was a really cool way to do that. I want to touch on something specifically with AT&T as well. I've read, and you have shared with me as well, that AT&T has really invested heavily, specifically here in the state of Georgia, to expand fiber and 5G network infrastructure, and that's backed by that $5 billion commitment by 2030 to help 25 million people gain access to those digital resources. So can you share more about how this investment is being implemented right here?
Yeah, so AT&T as a whole has pledged $5 billion to reach, I think, 25 million people in the U.S. So that's a nationwide thing, and to do that by 2030. Here in Georgia, it's kind of a continuation of the investment we've already made. So between 2020 and 2024, AT&T has invested $16.9 billion, actually a little more than that, in its Georgia networks. That's just in Georgia. So you can see the high level of investment and interest that AT&T has in the state of Georgia to make sure that we are keeping that connectivity strong for its residents, to help the economy continue to grow, to make sure that the education continues to increase, and that people are being educated in a way to help them move forward in their careers and in their lives. And also whether it's simple, hey, I just need to talk to my mom, or if it's, online health care or some other kind of necessary service that really helps them out.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, we made a great point there, Gary, even things like family connections, just having what we call here at Goodwill wraparound support. Makes all the difference as folks are, planning for the future, reaching that next goal, and just finding success all around for their well-being. So that's really wonderful. Looking ahead, we really appreciate, organizations like AT&T that are community-minded, partner-minded. Are there plans for future collaborations or similar initiatives across Southeast Georgia?
Yeah, actually, this is kind of just feels almost like it's just the start. For the last few years, we've been focused on digital divide and focusing here in Georgia. And, there's a number of things. So we've done some digital skills training partnerships with the Public Library Association. That's a nationwide program as well. And then also AT&T created a online website and learning portal. It's called the Achievery. And so you can go in there and learn all about digital literacy skills. It's got all other lessons in there as well that teachers can use, the parents can use, or students can just log in themselves to help teach the skills that they need for the future economy and the things they're going to need in the future. So it's a great resource that many people are using. And then the last piece is we're doing connected learning centers. We've opened 63 of these connected learning centers nationwide. We're going to do 100 by I think 2027. And actually there's 7 of those here in Georgia right now, and the 8th one is going to be here in Savannah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so West Broad Street YMCA is going to be the one that's going to be able to open that up later this fall, and we're very excited about that. And these connected learning centers provide a location for the resources. So the members of the Y can go, whether they're a senior or a student or just someone looking to have online access, and they can apply for jobs, gain new digital literacy skills, fill out resumes, do whatever they need online, and also enhance their skills on using those online tools. So very excited about that upcoming opportunity. And then we're going to see, what other things we can do to help out, because we know with Goodwill and their opportunity centers, it's one of those great partnerships that, Goodwill understands what's going on in our local community, and they're right in the middle of helping them in more than just the digital literacy. It's just so many different programs from these opportunity centers, and I think that my hope is that maybe we can do some more stuff here in the future. So
yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity there to use that word once again. And again, that leads perfectly into my last question. What is something new that you have learned about Goodwill and its opportunity centers through this recent partnership?
Okay. I think that while I knew some of what the opportunity centers were doing, I always had it in my mind that it was just, how to get a job. Maybe gain a couple of skills and then how to get a job. But it never really, struck me as strongly until this partnership, how much the digital skills was part of that piece, that is something they needed. And some of them, it may not be tied to the job, it's just a skill that they need for life. And so that was something that was new, and it just kind of helped me understand once again that Goodwill is reaching out. It's more than the retail stores or the people that are working in the stores. It's the whole programming behind it that's helping develop the people to make for a better community overall.
Yeah, absolutely. We're much, much more than a store, and we're glad that we were able to show you that side of what we do and what we've got going on.
AT&T is just so proud to be able to do these device distributions and to partner with a group like Goodwill, and it just really helps us to invest more in the community and finding these outlets, because at AT&T, while we could help with the devices, we couldn't do the programs that Goodwill does. And by partnering with you, it helps to make a much better program, much more impactful for those participants as well.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're definitely better as a community together, and we really appreciate the partnership. Thank you so much, Gary. We really appreciate you joining us this month on the Good News Pod.
Thank you for having me.